How do you decide on the directors and the writers? How does that work out?
The writers, Robin and Mitch, I had worked with before on Northern Exposure.
And you brought them in right from when
after the
when
pilot.
It got greenlit.
After the pilot, yeah. They had read the script and they really liked it, and I knew what they could do because I'd worked with them before. The others I've read material, and Frank's just jumped off the page. He's, like I say,
He was a writer, and you read something he'd written.
Yeah, I read. I think he'd worked for David Kelly, and he'd also had. I think he had a couple of short-lived series.
So you brought him on.
Yeah, brought him on, and then we did some experimenting. Some of the people we started with aren't with us anymore. They sort of fell away kind of fast.
And same thing with the directors, where you bring somebody in, and
usually we try to be people. Well, the first year, it was.
I'm talking about the first year.
A combination of people we knew, people I knew, or some of us knew, and who was in New York, because we were trying to save money and not bring people from L.A.
Right.
And most of my connections with directors were in.
It seems
LA.
John Patterson and Alan Coulter have continued with you.
Right. Well, Alan was one of the New York. That was the New York contingent, and Alan came to see me early on and said he really wanted to do the show, and
he's a producer too on the show.
He did become a producer on the show, and he's done some of our best work. John Patterson, I go back to Stanford Film School with. When I got to Stanford Film School, he was already there. He was like the TA over me when we first got there.
He directed me in one of the episodes. He's really good.
Yeah, he's very good. He really knows his stuff. He's been directing a long time.
And then Tim Van Patten, you brought in.
John was a California guy who I wanted to work with.
So you brought him in.
Brought him in. Tim was also a guy from New York here we were trying, like I say, we were trying to bring people from New York because to save some money.
And he did a good job.
And it's turned out to be. Now we don't really think that much about the money aspect of it. Yeah. But
we used him on the second series. Yeah. How about the casting of all the actors? It's so right on the money. How did you cast? How was the casting accomplished?
Just a typical way. The best thing we did was I saw a movie that Steve Buscemi directed called Trees Lounge. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I never seen it. I heard
it's
about it.
Very good.
Yeah, I heard it was.
And I loved the cast in that movie. And I looked at the casting. It said Georgianne Walken and Sheila Jaffe. And I didn't know either one of them. And I said, that's the people we should get to cast the show. And I don't think they'd ever cast a series before. They'd cast mostly independent movies. So that was the best thing we did. And they brought us, they brought us these great New York actors.
Right.
Brought them in. And
but was that part of your intention, was to use New York actors,
yes.
to keep it East Coast?
Definitely was to keep it East Coast. Because in its Fox incarnation, people said to me, oh, I see, it's set in New Jersey, so you'll shoot the pilot, you'll shoot part of the pilot, you'll shoot the exteriors of the pilot in Jersey, and then shoot the interiors in L.A., and then shoot the series in L.A. I said, no, I'm going to shoot the whole thing in Jersey. And people go, and you could tell they were looking at you like, yeah, that's interesting, you simpleton, that's never going to happen. And really, that was that kind of like, you poor schmuck.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. That kind of cynical, oh, really? And then, their second position would be, oh, I see, you'll shoot the series in L.A., but you'll send a unit back
to grab the exteriors.
To New York, not Jersey, to New York every once in a while to get some exteriors. And I said, no, I want to shoot the whole thing in Jersey. And you could see people lose interest. It was a negative. You could see production companies lose interest once they heard this. Even though they would have exerted their will and said, no, you can't do that, it was another disincentive to getting involved. When I went to HBO, Chris Albrecht said, now you're going to really shoot this in New Jersey, right? It says Jersey, you're going to get Jersey? I said, yeah.
Well, that's a whole
so that was a whole different,